Okay, so welcome everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy week between holidays, right? Almost New Year's. Tonight's class, it's child's pose, Balasana. And you're like, how the hell do you wrap a class around child's pose? Actually, it was not that hard to do once I started thinking about it. But what I have been considering, right, as your meaning behind, right, child's pose, is I often say that it's your favorite place to hide, right? Child's pose is our favorite place to hide, to escape to, right? In the middle of an asana class, and you're like, I don't feel like doing that, child's pose. You have the option to do the vinyasa or rest in child's pose, right? I'm feeling a little whatever, child's pose, right? So it's our favorite place to hide, where we think that there's nothing to engage with, right? There's nothing that needs to be engaged with. But my thought is that, we have this habit in our modern world where we have, I'm not saying us specifically individuals in the room, but as a culture, we've sort of glorified this idea of being overstressed, overworked, overrun, overwhelmed, multitasking, right? How much can you get done in a day or in a week or in a month or a year? That even our rest, right, has become part of that, right? We have become very not good at resting. So many of us, when we sleep, we don't sleep well. When we rest, it's never enough, because our body might be comatose, but our mind is still in that state of stress, right? It's still going. So the idea of child's pose being a place of being able to come to rest means that it's not just a physical place to try and get away from something. That's not what rest is. It's getting away from activity. But resting itself is a state, right? Resting itself is a way of being. Resting itself is just as valuable and necessary as any activity you could do, right? To learn to rest well is a skill that most of us need to come back to, right? So the idea here is child's pose being an opportunity to start to learn to rest wherever you can, in whatever way you can, right? Don't let that scare you. But the idea that rest is not in this moment or that position only, but that we can always come to that state of center, right? State of calm down, state of bring it back in. Can always do it. It doesn't have to be in specific circumstances. But if we can separate for ourselves those states of running away and real resting, our nervous systems will be much happier, right? Because we also have that understanding that when we are too overwhelmed and we just shut down, shutting down is also not resting, right? So learning what that restful place is really the benefit of child's pose in my mind, right? Whether you can practice it easily or not, because not everyone can. So comfortable seat, let your eyes close. Make sure you have a bolster or blankets or something. Just breathe in, and as you breathe out, drop the shoulders, drop your weight into your seat. With each exhale, let the awareness of whatever your mind is doing start to just drop in and down. So maybe that's directing the attention of your mind actually down physically through the body, doing like a body scan from the top of the head. Just follow all the way down through the head, through the neck, shoulders, arms, torso. You can take that as detailed as you'd like into the muscles, into the bones, into the organs, into your chakras if you choose. Just like you see any type of scan on TV moving through the body, just bring your awareness across the entireness of you. Just notice what you notice. And then do it again. Start from the top of the head and just bring the awareness all the way down. And this last time, right, as you start at the top of the head, just imagine that from there is this nice bright white sparkly light. So as you bring your awareness down, that light just begins to permeate from the top of the head all the way down, like you're just filling in that vision of yourself with that bright sparkly light. If you don't like sparkles, it doesn't have to sparkle, but white light. That whatever else is there, it becomes part of that white light. Not erasing anything, not getting rid of anything, just letting everything be absorbed into that. So you hold for a moment as you get down to the bottom of the body, this vision of yourself, physical self, energetic self, mind self. It's filled with light. Just hold that for a moment. Whatever else is there, absorb it into that light. This wholeness means that whatever is here is part of that wholeness, even if we don't understand how or why. With the experience of wholeness comes a real feeling of being at rest with yourself. So for a moment, whatever is here, you let yourself feel that feeling of wholeness. Everything is complete. And with the eyes still closed, let your hands come to the knees or the thighs, please. I know you thought it was om. Hands to the knees or the thighs. Begin to cat and cow, seated. As you inhale, lift the chest and the tail. Exhale, curl and round. Just continue to move with your breath. Eyes closed if you can. If that makes you nervous, open your eyes. Nice, you guys. Good, and then slowly come to stillness, please. Inhale the arms all the way up to the sky, again, keeping the eyes closed if you can. Reach as tall as you can, like you're squeezing a block between the hands. Good, squeeze the arms and draw the ribs in like you're creating a column, right? All the way up into space. Nice, then stay this long through your spine. Bring the hands together to touch overhead. Draw the hands straight down that center line to the heart center. And here we'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release the hands. Open your eyes if they are not already. And then go ahead and you can stay seated, actually. Stretch your right leg out wide to the right. Left heel in towards the groin. Yep. You're coming into like a half straddle. You can use blankets underneath your seat if you'd like. Good. Just start to flex and point that foot. So flex the foot, curling the toes back, and then point the foot, bringing the toes down towards the floor. Flex and point. And this is something that if you're not classically trained in ballet, you might not realize, but the point of your foot does not just come from your toes, it actually comes all the way from the ankle, right? So make the ankle be the origin of where the foot moves, and then try to get those foot muscles to actually work with you into that point, and then flex. There you go. It's a big deal, right? Because sometimes we can flex and point just from like the top of our foot, and that's not what you're aiming for. You're aiming for that whole connection of your foot up into your calf, right? And again, one of those places, start to circle your ankle, please. One of those places where we rarely consider until we are yoga teachers watching lots of people do child's pose, that if you have tight ankles, child's pose is not fun. Yeah. If you have tight calves, child's pose can be not fun. Circle your ankle the other direction, please. No, most of us forget, right, that the same muscles and connective tissue, ligaments and tendons that go into the feet are very connected to our calves. So if you have tight calves, guess what? You're putting pressure on your feet. Good. And then come to stillness, please. Curl the toes back, dig the heel down, and then turn your belly towards that leg. So your hands frame the right leg, sit up nice and tall, and then walk yourself forward, take a forward fold over that thigh. Good. And try and press your left foot in towards the thigh just a little bit more. So that foot is actually engaged a little bit. Press the baby toe down into the floor, almost like you've got that half Balasana action going on. Good. So press down to the left baby toe and press down through your left groin. Your knee might elevate just a little bit. That's okay. Good. Keep that right heel digging down and slightly back so the back of your knee is not being yanked on. It'll also help maybe bring more stretch into the back of the calf and the ankle. Good. One more deep breath. Inhale, get longer. And then exhale, curl and bow just a little deeper. Good. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Walk your hands straight in front of your wet legs. Forward fold. Keep that left knee bent. Just walk yourself straight ahead between the legs. There you go. Keep those right toes curling back. Dig the heel down. Nice. Good. Press that right sit bone back down to the floor. And then walk yourself all the way back up. Nice job. Switch the legs. Take your left leg out and wide. Bring the right heel in towards the groin. Good. Again, if the foot can touch the leg, great. If not, that's all right. And then just start to flex and point your left foot. Again, trying to get that sensation of the point of your foot is an extension of your whole calf. Good. Nice. Yeah, if your foot is rubbing against the floor, making a weird noise, that's all right. Good. Start to circle that ankle, please. It's really too bad because that is one of those noises that like does make me like my ears bleed. Like it makes me clench my teeth. Good. Circle your ankle the other direction. Yeah. That's the thing about nervous systems, right? Is that we don't get to choose like what our degree of sensitivity is, right? We just get to learn what we can and cannot tolerate. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Curling the toes back, flex the foot, dig your heel down, and then turn towards that left leg. So you frame the leg, deep breath in, get tall, and then exhale, bow forward. Good. Keep that left heel drawing down. Good. And press that right foot in towards that left thigh. And press the baby toe of that right foot down into the floor. And then try and get your right groin to move down towards the floor. Good. Nice, you guys. Gonna take one more deep breath, letting yourself get a little bit taller, a little bit longer. And then exhale, bow a little bit deeper. And then slowly walk yourself all the way back up. Good. Hands straight front and center again. Walk yourself forward between the legs. Keep your groins again rolling down. Press your sit bones back. And roll that left inner thigh down towards the floor so your toes are not falling outward, but you're actually using that rotation to keep your toes facing straight up and down. Good. And then walk yourself all the way back up. Nice job. Bend both knees, bring the bottoms of the feet together. Grab a block if you have one. And place that block between your feet. Good. Diamond of the legs can be slightly longer if you need. Good. So pressing the feet into the block, curl the toes back. Good. And press your feet into that block pretty firm, right? And then feel your knees squeeze up just a little bit towards each other. Butt presses down. And then with that little engagement of the legs, walk yourself forward. Keep your forward fold here. Good. Keep those knees drawing up as you lean forward. Good. As the knees are pulling up, you can send your groins back. Beautiful. Keep your knees squeezing up. Good. And then with your arms extended in front of you, take your fingertips to the floor, look up and forward, lengthen your spine. So try and take that curve out of your back. Good, but keep your hands in front of you. So drag back on the fingertips, lift your chest up higher, and feel those shoulder blades anchored down and in. Good. And then come all the way back up. Nice job. Release that squeeze of the legs, place your block to the side, roll forward onto hands and knees. Good. Downward facing dog. Toes the hips. Nice. And bend your knees, please, and begin to cat-cow your spine. So your knees bend a lot and they stay bent, and then begin to move the spine as much as you can, inhaling and exhaling. Keep those knees bent a lot. Good. The more you bend your knees, you can lift your heels as high as you like. Again, it's a great stretch for your ankles, but your knees bent a lot. That's it. Good. And then move the upper spine. Good. Right, in child's pose, we still are looking for a lot of extension on the spine, which means that we want to be able to curve through that low part of the belly, low part of the lower spine. Good, so every time you exhale, can you really focus on drawing your thigh and your hip bones away from each other? Good. Nice, you guys. Come to stillness, please. Stretch your hips up towards the sky, straighten your legs, let your heels reach down towards the floor. You got it. And then step the right foot forward between the hands, lunge. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. Good. Take your arms out wide, cactus arms. Good. Spin your elbows forward just a little bit more, chest comes nice and high. Beautiful. And then go ahead and take your back bend, lifting the heart nice and high. Let your front knee come forward more. Good. And then stretch the arms all the way just straight, keeping your arms as wide as your elbows were, palms facing forward. Good. Then come all the way back up to center, please. Bend the elbows wide again into cactus arms. And then twist to the left, please. So to the right is the correct way. To the right, towards that front leg. Keep your elbows, again, as wide as your chest here. Good. And then bring that left forearm onto the front thigh. Take the right arm over the ear. Press that left hip wider to the left as you twist your ribs, open space. Good. And then unwind yourself, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Step that left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Parsvottanasana. Good. Use blocks underneath the hands. Like, gaze longingly at your bolster. It's really just there to tease you. Would that be awful? You need a bolster. Why? Just so you can look at it. I would not do that to you. Good. Press into your feet, please. Give your feet a little bit of a squeeze, and then curl into your low belly. So drop your head, let your upper back round. Just really pull into that low back. Good. Turn that left hip forward a lot. Nice. And then keep that engagement of the low belly. Let the head drop again. Let the spine just get as long as it can without letting the belly go. Good. And then bend that right knee, please. Step your left foot forward, top of your mat. Take both legs straight, bow deep. Good. Hands touching something. Come up on your tippy toes, please. Yeah, so squeeze the shins, pull your hips up towards the sky. Nice. And then release the heels down towards the floor. Keep your hands on the floor, bend your knees like you're coming back to chair. So you move your hips back, press into your heels. And then with your hands still on the floor, scoop your belly, really round your back. Good. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Nice. Now start to straighten the legs again. Press your hips up towards the sky. Press down through your heels. Excellent. And then inhale the arms all the way around and up. Come to stand. Good. Right hand holds your left wrist. Take a side stretch to the right. Good. And then take it towards that upper right hand corner of your mat, rounding into your back rib cage. So pull the ribs back. Nice. And then keep yourself rounded, but turn that left armpit open even more and pull that right hip wide. Good. Come back up to center, please. Nice. Switch the hands. Left hand to right wrist. Lean to your left. Again, getting as tall through your waist as you can. And then take the hands towards that upper left-hand corner of the mat. Round the ribs back. Good. And then stay rounded and turn that right armpit open again. Draw the throat back. Open the chest. Good. And then come back up to center, please. Exhale, release the hands out and down to the floor, standing forward fold. Again, letting your hands touch something, floor or blocks. Good. Come up on your tippy toes. Again, squeezing through your shins, scoop into your belly, send your butt up towards the sky as you drop your head. Anchor into that big toe mound of your feet. Good. And then drop the heels towards the floor. Again, keeping your hands where they are. Bend your knees deep, taking your butt back into chair. And then scoop it. Keep your hands on the floor, though. Sorry, keep your hands on the floor. Just your butt is back in that chair position. Round into your low belly again. Pull those hip bones up off of your thigh, but drop your hips lower. Good. Nice, you guys. And now straighten the legs again, pressing through your heels. Push the hips up towards the sky as you drop your head. You feel that weight of the spine stretching through the lower back. Good. Take your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Nice. Bring your right knee up in towards your chest. Good. Cross that thigh over the left, bending the left knee, dropping into eagle pose. So press the shins together. And then take the left arm over top of the right. Wrapping the arms as well. You can always use a block underneath that right foot. Good. Nice, you guys. Start with lifting that low belly in and up, away from your thigh. Beautiful. And then bring the elbows forward towards your knees, round into your back. Good. So pull the armpits up. You got it. Get low. Yeah, and now start to come vertical again. Keep your hips right where they are. Just lift your chest back up. Pull your ribs back. Nice. And then slowly release. Come all the way to stand. Deep breath in. Good. Exhale. Relax your mind. Oh. Just relax. You know, it's that easy. Just relax. Just hit the button. All right. Second side. Left knee up in towards your chest. Take the left thigh over top of the right, bending your right knee, and squeeze your shins. Again, here, don't try to squeeze your thighs so much, but squeeze your shins. And then bring the right arm over top of the left in front of you. And again, you're focusing on how much you can bend into your knees and your hips. So if that means leaning forward more, that's fine, even though I'm going to tell you to try to be vertical. Do what's necessary to get that space in your lower back. Draw the groins back, scoop that belly, drop your tail. Good. And then bring your elbows forward towards your knees and round, because it's going to make that easier. But then when you round, drop your hips. Good. Get into those sticky places. Nice. Excellent, you guys. And now stay that low, but start to bring your chest back up towards vertical. Pull your ribs in. Nice, Susan. You got it, Kristen. Slowly come all the way back out. Hands to the floor, feet to the floor. Arms to the sky, deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift up halfway, hands to the shins or blocks, whatever you'd like. Exhale, curl in again, bow deep. Good. Right foot steps back behind you. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. Didn't forget. Good. Nice, you guys. Turn your palms forward, bend the elbows out wide, cactus arms. Good. Find your back bend here. So you spin the elbows forward, let the hands fall back. Chest goes super high. Good. Kick your back thigh up higher. Nice. And now stretch your arms all the way to straight, but keep the arms as wide as your elbows were wide, because this is as wide as your shoulders really like your hands to be. And then come all the way back up to center. Bend the elbows wide again when you're straight up and down. Cactus arms. Twist to your left and force that front knee. But keep those inner elbows pressing wide so the shoulders are really engaged. And then bring the right forearm onto the front thigh. Take your left arm over the ear towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Push your right hip wider to the right. Good. And turn that right rib cage on you. Nice. And then unwind yourself, arms to the sky. Good. And then let the hands go, please. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Both feet come flat. Ardha block as you do. Did say you had to work a little bit. And that's not, there used to be the joke that you have to earn your child, you have to earn your shavasana or something like that, but it's not true, right? That's part of this mentality that we're sort of stuck in, is that you can rest when all the work is done. The reality is that rest is part of the experience of being alive. We're not intended to work for such long hours and such long stretches without any relief. One of the reasons why we're all kind of going a little crazy. I mean, as human beings in general, not you and me specifically. The reason why mental health seems to be going to weird places for a lot of people. Because rest is not just escape, right? And that's the thing, is we have learned to escape and call it rest. saw a very cute candle. They had, you know, these little zodiac candle things for this very witty company. And labeled under one of them was, I forget what sign it was, I think it was Libra, but it said something like procrastinating and calling it self-care. And I was like, yeah, that's it, exactly. Right? Escaping and calling it a vacation. Shutting down and calling it meditation. Oh. Take one more deep breath, squeezing the feet, curl into your belly, round your back. We have to learn how to rest again. That's just all there is to it. And then let your spine get longer, even though your legs are still engaged. Good. And then bend that left knee, step the right foot forward, top of your mat, standing forward fold. Beautiful. Then take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. You got it. And then go to a wall. If you have a wall, pretty much all of you do. Bring a block with you. Yep. So you're going to place your block. You're going to face the wall. You're going to place your block flat on its wide setting so that you can step up on it. Right? Shoulder deep. Step up on your block. Yep, you got it. Just facing the wall, Susan. Both feet. Yep, both feet up on the block with your heels hanging off. Oh. Yeah, so the wall is there for support, right? Make sure you can touch it, but you don't need to be leaning towards it. So try and just stand up straight. Good, soften the knees. Again, your heels should be hanging off of the block, so just the balls of your feet are on the block. So we can move your feet back. Child's toes on the wall. Child's toes on the wall, there you go. Good, try not to lean on the wall here. Just use the wall as a way to stay upright. Good, and then just rise up onto your tippy toes here on the block. Good. If your block is very squishy, this might not be working well. And then as you come back to almost like you're standing flat, let your heels dip down below the edge of your block, stretch the ankles. So you might have to move further back from the wall if this is tricky. Do it again, come all the way up. Good. And then start to come back to center, dropping the heels. We should do it 1 foot at a time or use 2 blocks. Good. Do it one more time, come all the way up. Good. And then as you come down, press the heels below the edge of that block. Yeah, it's nice, right? Yeah. And then go ahead and release and step off. If you like that one, if you have real steps at home, you can do this on real steps and they won't wiggle out from underneath you. So go ahead and come off of your block, please. Stay at the wall. And then be about arm's length from the wall. So hands touching the wall. Good. And then you're going to take your right ankle over top of your left knee or left thigh, and then bend your left knee, take your butt back so you're coming into cross-legged chair with your hands on the wall. Good. So I want your butt to move back in space. And then curl into your low belly. Yep, so you want to be leaning forward. Not take your butt back. So your knee should be directly over your ankle or close to it. Push your hand into the wall, get your spine to get a little longer. So pull the groins back and lift your chest forward. That's it. Nice to push your hands into the wall. Get your shoulders engaged. Pull your ribs in. Scoop into that low belly. You want your butt descending towards the floor. Try to take that left side parallel. Yeah, that's standing leg. Standing leg to parallel. I don't like it anymore. Good, but you have the wall there for support. One more deep breath. And then go ahead and come on out. Release. That was something. Good, give it a shake. Try the second side. Right leg, standing leg. So if you didn't have room to really get all the way back into that 90-degree angle, move yourself further away from the wall. And then left ankle over right side, please. Bend the right knee, take your butt back, cross-legged chair, second side. Again, you're aiming for that right side to be parallel to the floor. So your butt has to go back in space. The knee stays over the ankle, butt moves backwards. And then try to scoop into that low belly, right? So that you're getting a lot of that softening in the knee joint and the hip joint. Yeah. And if this is a tight place for you, your hips and your lower back, then guess what? This is going to feel like it's really difficult to do. And right at this moment, it is difficult to do. That doesn't mean it's not worth doing. This is the thing. This is the same stretch that you would get in child's pose. It's just on steroids. Volume turned up. Good. Take your butt back even more, Susan. Yes. There you go. I know. Push your hands into the wall. Perfect, Kristen. You can just go into that low chair. Awesome. Good. And then slowly release. Come on out. Yeah. Hello. Good. So now I want you to come into an L shape on the wall, hands touching the wall. Step yourself back into like an L shape. Good. And then just take your right foot forward once you're in that L shape. So you come into Parsvottanasana. So as you step your right foot forward, step your left foot back a little bit more. But I want your torso to be roughly parallel to the floor in your Parsvottanasana. Good. Push your hands into the wall. Pull that right hip up nice and high. Turn your left hip forward. And then try to find where both hands are pressing into the wall equally. And your chest is lifting. Good. Draw the hips back. Nice. Push into your feet. Excellent, you guys. I want you to feel like when you finally get to child's pose that you're like a puddle. Good. One more deep breath. Nice. Just switch the feet, please. Take your left foot forward, right foot back. Try to find roughly the same position. Make sure your feet are as wide as your hips, right and left. You still don't want that stance to be too narrow. Please walk your hips tiny bit. Good. Right hip spins forward, left hip wide. And again, the idea here is to get that feeling of the groins pulling back as your spine extends, because that's what you want in child's pose. The groins, even in child's pose, have to move back. And that little scoop through that low belly that makes space for those joints to get soft. It's what we want, so that when we're in child's pose, it's like the thigh bones get to come home up into the hip socket. Good. Lift the back of your throat so that your mind doesn't get depressed. Good. And then slowly release, please. Walk yourself up towards the wall. You got one more wall thing to do, I think. Good. Another calf stretch. So you're going to step your left foot up to the wall with the ball of your foot on the wall and your heel on the floor. So it's like you're about to try and step up onto the wall like you're Spider-Man, right? Good. Hands can be touching the wall. That right foot is behind you. Just lift up onto the ball of your right foot so you increase that stretch on the left calf. But the higher up the ball of the foot is on the wall, the more stretch you can potentially have.
So both feet. So these toes lift, right?
No, you come up on the ball of that foot. So, yeah, so you're leaning your weight forward. So the more you take that foot up the wall, the more potential stretch there is, but your ankle's not going to let you go any further, so you're right there. Good. Okay, this is another nice one. Work with the calf. Make sure your knee is not. That's it. And then go ahead and release. Try the other side. Years of abusing my feet in ballet, so I've got a million things for you if you need feet. Good. Again, pressing through that left foot to bring your hips forward to stretch that right calf. Soften your knee. Good. And then slowly release. Nice job, you guys. Beautiful. So turn yourselves around so that you face the front of your mat again, or come to the top of your mat. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward, forward, forward. Good. Step your right leg way back behind you. Nice. Drop that knee. Good. And then take both hands inside the front foot. Flex the left foot a lot. Drop that knee wide onto the baby toe. Good. Walk your hands forward just a little bit more. Come on down to your elbows if you'd like, or stay where you are. Good. Again, flexing the foot, staying on that baby toe. And again, I'm doing that on purpose. Right? Try to do most things in this class on purpose. But doing it on purpose so that you have to keep your feet a little bit awake, right? That baby toe pressing down while the hip is rotating is super important. Also helping to strengthen the ankles here. Good. So as you allow that space behind your heart to get softer, you're not collapsing in your lower back, right? You gotta have a little bit of that lift of your inner thighs. Again, groins moving back. Your groins are like the heck we do. Good, ribs back. Here get softer. Nice, you guys. You're gonna take one more breath where you are. Excellent. And then walk yourself back up onto your hands. Stay on that baby toe if you can. Press that right hand down to the floor. Take your left arm up to the sky. Twist. Good. So you got to kick that back, your butt up just a little higher. So you press into that back knee. So you come out of that drop in your hips just a little bit, and then turn that right rib cage under. Pull the ribs back. Just and breathe. Good. And then release the hand. Release the foot back to flat, please. Nice job. Lift that back knee. And then take that left leg up and back behind you into down dog split. Oh, you got it. Good. And then bring that knee forward towards your nose, squeeze it in, and then send that leg out wide to the right, all the way out into that Bridget's cross. So as you take the leg all the way out onto the baby toe, keep going until your outer hip finds the floor. And then turn your ribs to face the front of your mat. Good. Keep those right toes tucked under if you can. Set that leg behind you. Come back down to your forearms. All of this for child pose. You know, there's no concept that you have to earn child pose. You don't have to earn your rest. It's like you can't earn Shavasana, right? The state of your spirit is not something that you get as a consolation prize for putting up with life. Not how it works. But it's through looking past these kind of moments of overwhelm or stress, or not jumping into it, I would say, right? Because anything that's in our mind has the potential to overwhelm the mind if we focus on it. So we say in yoga a lot, but we're looking for that sort of panoramic view, or that big, broad blue sky view, where whatever is here is it's absorbed into something that's much bigger, right? The backdrop, the tapestry. And if we could pan out just a little bit from whatever small thing that we are fixated on, or big thing that we're fixated on, we could see that there is a bigger picture as we've relaxed a little bit. That's all we're doing, right? Is trying to find the ability to take what's inside of our limited experience. Because of course it's limited, we're embodied. To take what's inside that limited experience, and instead of being overwhelmed by it, can you start to find a restful place within it? Even here, you know, your IT bands are talking in a language you don't understand. Sounds like they're threatening you. Deep breath in. Good. Walk your hands back up underneath your shoulders, please. Beautiful. Unwind yourself all the way back to downward facing dog. Good. Pedal your feet, wiggle your hips. Nice. And then step the right foot forward between the hands. Drop the back knee. Take both hands inside that foot. Good. Flex the foot a lot. Let your right knee drop wide. And walk your hands a little bit forward towards that upper left-hand corner. Come on down to your elbows if you'd like, or stay on your fingertips or you swap. Good. Try to keep the integrity of the ankle, right? So if the toes curl back, you're pressing that foot into the floor. And there's a little bit of that feeling almost in Baddha Konasana of the knee squeezes slightly in so that you can draw the groin back. Good. The more you can scoop through the low belly here and send the hips slightly forward, the better. Yeah, you gotta do your elbows slowly. Nice. Practice of yoga is not to become more comfortable, but it's to increase the range of what we consider to be tolerable. Right? Comfort means something different. It doesn't mean excluding whatever I don't like. It means that I can find comfort, calm, peace with ever increasing barriers. This complicated world is not always a place that's going to immediately overwhelm me. This complicated mind is not something that's immediately going to overwhelm my sense of self. Because maybe child's pose isn't available. Maybe the usual place that you hide or escape to is not available. So you cultivate the ability to be at rest, internally at rest, even when things are ridiculous. Most of the time, that's what they are. Take one more deep breath. That's it. Just remind yourself you can. And then walk yourself back up onto your hands. Please keep that knee wide if you can. Left hand chance, right arm comes to the sky, take the twist. Don't forget you have a back leg, right? So as you come into that twist, press into your back knee. Let your hips lift just a little bit. And then turn that left rib cage under as you let your throat draw back. Nice. Good, and then slowly release, please, the hand, let the foot come back to flat. Lift that back knee and then take your right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. You got it. Bring that knee forward towards your nose, please. And then send that leg out wide to the left, behind your left wrist. Good, flex the foot onto the baby toe, and then keep pressing that foot wide until that outer right hip finds the floor. Legs should be split. Good. Keep your left toes turned under if you can. Turn your wrist towards the floor. Come on down to your forearms. Good. And relax. Remember formally who is credited for saying, and I'm sure there's a million teachers who have, when you say that there's a painful thing that happens, right, that gets our mind going, and then there's the layers and layers of story that we tell ourselves about the painful thing that's actually way more painful than the thing that happened. So at what point do you allow yourself to rest with just what's here, even if it's discomfort? It doesn't mean that there aren't things that can change, that will change. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't look for change. Not to become obsessed with that need to keep changing, moving, doing. If I could just get this right, then I could relax. They sometimes say when there's intense sensation in a moment, is to actually breathe with it, right? Get your mind close to it instead of pushing it away. But don't tell yourself a story about it. There's nothing wrong with your IT bands, your hips aren't broken. This is uncomfortable, but it's not because you've done everything wrong in your life. Right? There's no story here except you've got tight hips and IT bands. It's all right. Can you breathe with that? Knowledge that a part of your body is tight, and in this position it is receiving stretch. Relax that space behind your heart. Nice. And then slowly release, please. Walking your hands back up underneath your shoulders. Good. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, come all the way back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and slide yourself forward into plank pose. Lower all the way down slow to your belly. And rise up into cobra, lift up head, neck, and chest. Good. And then release back to your belly, please. Nice. So come onto your forearms about like you're about to come up into space pose, or you could come up in Sphinx pose. And then I want you to pull your right knee wide to the right, like it's almost coming into a half frog. Yeah, so you're in Sphinx, and you're just gonna pull that right knee nice and wide. Try and bring your heel in line with that knee, so you're in like a half frog pose. Good, just pressing into your forearm. Nice. Child's pose is a hip opener. Again, sometimes knees are built differently, one side or the other. They have a different experience just because of what your life has been. So when we do things that are two-sided, we don't always realize how much we're compensating one direction or another. We do things one side at a time, and we can really focus on, this is what this hip feels like. This knee feels like. Take one more deep breath here. And then go ahead and slide that leg straight back behind you. Take a moment just to drop your forehead towards the floor, let your elbows go wide, make a pillow with your hands. Nice. Then walk yourself back up onto your forearms again. And bring the left knee forward this time. Again, as close to up near your hip as you can, and flex the foot, bringing the ankle in line with your knee. Still trying to turn the rib forward. Good. You just notice the difference that one knee understands this position differently than the other one. It's a good thing to notice which knee is tighter, which hip is tighter. There's nothing wrong with one hip being tighter, it's just the reality. Everybody. Keep pressing into your forearms, keep lifting your chest. Often do say that it's fun to watch where your mind likes to escape to. I'm sure we'll always joke that hers goes to food. Mine tends to go towards rewriting conversations. The ones that I didn't like how they went. What if I had said this? Either that or it's, lyrics to children's songs that are in my head. Where does your mind escape to? That's why we say to use mantra, right? Fill your mind with mantra so when your mind doesn't know where to go, it automatically gets flooded with mantra. Excellent. Om Namah Shivaya instead of whatever my crazy brain was going to come up with. Slowly slide that left leg back behind you. Nice job. And again, lowering the forehead towards the floor, let the elbows go wide. Wiggle your hips from side to side if you'd like. If you really like the feeling of it, you can bend your knees here and do those windshield wiper actions with your chin. And then slowly come to stillness. Don't just do that for the next 10 minutes. Walk your hands back under you, press yourself up onto hands and knees. Grab your bolster. Yeah. So stretching the legs out nice and wide. You have two options here. You can just place the bolster in front of you lengthwise and lean forward. You can always use a block underneath it to make a little bit more of an angle to lean forward. Or you can make a little construct if you have two blocks place your bolster on top of the blocks and lean forward, depending on how high you want your construct. Yeah, if you want your construct to be pretty high, sometimes the nicest thing to do is just put 2 blocks under it, rest it across, and lean forward. Wide legs, lean forward. Nice. Do not go to sleep. Just Upavista Konasana, lean forward. And an opportunity to feel the lower back. Just get a little bit longer. So as you're leaning forward, notice if your weight tends to curl into your tail, right? If your tail tends to curl down in this position. See if you can roll yourself forward just a little bit towards that front edge of your sit bone. So you have that feeling of being able to lengthen your spine from your sacrum, the lowest part of your spine. Breathe really deep into your back body. Forward folding helps bring the attention inward. It's very helpful as a form of pratyahara. Move the senses away from the outside world into the inside world. Instead of what is there to do, there's what is there to feel. See if you can feel a little bit more into that back of the body. Just one more breath. Slowly walk yourself back up. Good. Move your bolster to the side so you take the legs together. Then you're going to scoot yourself around so that you can bring your bolster parallel across your mat, parallel to the top of the mat. And you're going to come onto your right hip, so I can show you this way. And you're going to lean sideways over the bolster, right? Take the arm over. Stretching here. So the hips are stacked, the knees are stacked. Your rib cage from between the armpit and the hip are over the bolster.
And the legs are together, knees bent.
Knees together, yep. You could straighten the legs if you want. I think the knees bent, though, gives you a little bit more opening in the lower back. So pull the knees up as though you were doing a spinal twist here. Good. Fun that you guys are all choosing different sides to start on. Doesn't matter. Nice. Yeah, for a lot of us, we might feel that one bolster here doesn't feel like quite enough. Sorry if you needed 3 and you only have 1. This feels, but it feels really good, right? Yes. Hilariously, I do know plenty of restorative poses. I just don't do them a lot. Or because I find it doesn't soothe my mind. By the time I'm comfortable in a restorative position, it's time to get out. Our minds are all structured differently. Our nervous systems are all structured differently. That's why it's important to understand what rest means for your body, your mind. So the worst thing is when someone is telling you to go rest the way they would rest, expecting that it's going to work and it doesn't. And you just feel worse about yourself. You're like, I can't even rest right. You're following the intuition of this body and this mind. So what resting is really about is coming to an understanding of what this body and this mind need to feel whole and complete. Not in danger. We have to learn to rest like it's any of our other activities. One more breath on this side. And then slowly begin to walk yourself back up. You're just going to flip over onto the other side. Set yourself up exactly the same way. You don't have to move the bolster at all. Just flip over onto the opposite side. Same thing, knees stacked, hips stacked. If you like the legs straight, you can certainly straighten them. I like the knees bent to give that feeling of relief to the lower spine. Arms overhead if you can. If that position does not serve, you can place the arms wherever you'd like. It's just to give more openness to the armpit. Probably we would not call this restorative unless you had something underneath your head. It's just a nice relaxing pose with a bolster. I think what we look at, we can say that the names of the poses were just pulled out of wherever. Most of us have probably seen a child at some point in our lives get into child's pose and just fall asleep there. Bizarre that they do. And so that's what that position is named, right? After the child who's just sleeping or is just able to rest. And that's the beauty of the child mind, right? Is that it doesn't see any problem with, oh, right here, right now in the middle of the grocery store, time to rest. Okay, rest. We were born with that ability. Whether it is easily accessible even as children is different for everyone. We can learn how to rest. And learn how to step outside of overwhelm. maybe consider adding nap time back into your day. Just like I say to my daughter, you don't have to sleep. It's a time to be relaxed, quiet. One more breath. We slowly come all the way back up. Good. Now take your bolster. Well, most of you are towards the back of your mat. So take your bolster towards the front of your mat, vertical. And just turn so that your butt is towards the back of your bolster. There you go. Your bolster will be up towards the front of your mat. Separate your feet. And then drop your knees over to the right. Keep turning your torso, not onto your back. Drop your knees to the right. And then turn same direction so that you can come down onto the bolster in a twist. All right, so the bolster is behind you. Drop your knees to the right. Walk yourself around. That bolster will be right up against your hip. The idea here is to keep the feet separated. Yep. More stretch to the hip, lower back. Again, I'm not just doing restorative poses or poses with the bolster to assist you, as I have a purpose here. I have an agenda. I'm not even sure I want to introduce it into your minds, but did you long for child's pose earlier in class?
Yeah, but now.
Yeah. Or did your mind say, it's coming later? I don't have to worry. It's okay, whichever it is. The interesting conversation there is, what can you do so that your mind is never in that state of worry, wondering, when am I going to get to rest? One more breath. Come all the way back up. So you'll be facing the back of your mat again, bolster behind you. Let's move to the second side. So feet are still as wide as your mat. Drop your knees to the left. Then turn in the same direction. I tend to like to say too, when we're doing these poses, that anyone that feels good, if you have a bolster at home, guess what you can do at home? Any of these poses. Trust me, they work. When dogs lay on you, children lay on you, you can still do these poses. You can keep the feet separated here. more breath. Walk yourself back up. This time turning to face the front of your mat with your bolster in front of you. Or actually move the bolster all the way up to the front of your mat. Away from you. Move your knees wide. Let your big toes come together to touch. Spread through your toes. And then before you come forward with your hands on the floor, curling around, bring your butt back to your feet. If the knees don't love that, right, press into your shins here. You can always use a rolled blanket behind your knees, but get your butt as far back towards your heels as you can. Send your groins back. And then keep it there as you start to walk your torso forward. Coming into child's pose, your chest is reaching towards the floor, your arms are extended, let your hands go a little wider. Remember how wide your hands were in lunge. Keep your shins pressing down into the floor, pull your groins back. And then from the middle of your back, start to soften and soften and soften, but don't let your butt come away from your heels. Keep that effort of the groins moving back, your hips pulling back. Press the feet gently into the floor. Take one more breath there. Then come back out. Grab your bolster. Knees are still wide. Bring the bolster between the knees. And come back into child. Turn one cheek to the side. And notice if with the bolster you're able to really let go. It's not necessarily true. Maybe the bolster gets in the way. Kristen, you could be doing this on your back if you'd like. Either happy baby or bringing the feet together and just drawing the knees in, pressing your shins against your hands. Relax your shoulders. And maybe drop your feet to the floor, Kristen, supine Baddha Konasana. Your breath get deeper in the back of the body, the back of your heart, the back of your sacrum. And to slowly move your hands to the outside of the bolster. Gently press the floor away. Coming back up to sit. The eyes remain closed. Sitting back where you began. And again, can you just do that scan through the body from the top of your head all the way down to the base? If you liked it, go back to that experience of, or that visualization of filling the body with light. Pouring light into the shape and form, the mold of this body and mind. And just let whatever is here be absorbed into that brightness. And this light is not something that is from outside of you, but it's yours. This is what the crown does, is it just shines that light that is the energy of the soul. It's not the energy of doing, it's the energy of being. So that feeling of smallness, constrainedness, tightness, whatever, can you absorb it back into that bigness? Not so it disappears, but so that it's held. That you're immersed in something bright and beautiful. And so maybe there are moments when it still feels like you need to run or hide or escape. You never have to run or hide or escape from you. Learn to rest right where we are. We learn to rely on exactly who and what we are to be the source of that restfulness. And I promise you can handle the world outside. Don't forget to come to rest in the space inside. Bring your hands to your heart center, please. Inhale for the sound of Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Kama. Thank you guys so much. Hope that was fun. Surprised you with child's pose being your shavasana. Yeah. If you've never done that before, highly recommend it, provided that child's pose is not fantastic. But have a beautiful rest of your night, you guys. Happy New Year. If I don't see you, don't forget New Year's Eve, Cheryl has her cacao ceremony and regular class that morning, New Year's Day. No class in the morning with me, but I will be here in the afternoon with Dave Miller doing asana and gong bath. So check us out.
Thank you.